Hello everyone, my name is Amanda Curtis and I'll be doing a unit plan on 3rd grade geometric measurement. This unit will take place over the course of 5 days. The unit plan has 2 goals. The first one is that students will be able to understand the concepts of area and relate area to multiplication and to addition. The second goal is that students will be able to recognize perimeter as an attribute of plane figures and distinguish between linear and area measures. Basically, students will be finding the area and perimeter of figures. This unit plan includes lessons that meet the needs of each of the multiple intelligences. The multiple intelligence are verbal linguistic, where students prefer to speak and write and listen; logical mathematical, where students like to find patterns and make calculations; spatial intelligence, where students like to represent ideas visually; bodily kinesthetic, where students like to be physical moving; musical intelligence, where students like to listen, sing, play an instrument; interpersonal, where students like to listen to other people and work with other people; intrapersonal, where students like to work by themselves and learn by themselves; and naturalist intelligence, where students like to identify and classify living things and natural objects. For the verbal linguistic intelligence, students will be engaging in TED Talks. They will not only be watching TED Talks, but they will actually be recording and making their own TED Talks to teach each other about finding area and perimeter. They'll be engaged in Google Chats with their peers. They'll be working in collaborative groups throughout the entire unit. They will be creating and sharing slideshow presentations, and they'll also be making video presentations where they'll be teaching their peers how to calculate the area. The next intelligence is intrapersonal. Interpersonal intelligence is where students like to take a part in their own learning and learn mostly by themselves. For the interpersonal intelligence, students will be doing Kahoot quizzes. They'll not only be taking part in doing the Kahoot quizzes, but they'll be also making their own Kahoot quizzes for their peers. They'll be doing project-based learning. They will use the website mapfab.com, where they'll be finding their own area and perimeter of geological figures. They'll be going on Zoo Tycoon to create their own virtual zoo, where they need to make sure that the size of the enclosures are appropriate for the animals they're placing in them, and then they'll be needing to find the perimeter of these enclosures. They will be completing lessons independently on Khan Academy and IXL.com. For the musical intelligence, students will be watching YouTube videos that have catchy songs and tunes to help them remember and learn how to find the area and perimeter of objects. They will also be, at the end of their lesson, they'll be creating their own YouTube videos where they're going to make a video with a catchy tune to help teach other students how to learn about area and perimeter. They will also be engaging in different rhyming activities during this lesson. They'll be creating poems to help them remember how to find the area and perimeter of figures. And then they'll be making a digital musical movie poster where they will again be finding the area and perimeter of figures and helping other students. For the next intelligence, it's bodily kinesthetic. Students with bodily and kinesthetic intelligences prefer to be active and physical during lessons. These students will be making their own popsicle fence, and then they'll be calculating the perimeter of them. They'll be going on mapfab.com and Google Maps, and they'll be looking at different geographical figures in the area, and they'll be calculating their perimeter. They will also be engaged in a campus walk where they'll be looking at the actual fences around the campus, and they'll be calculating the perimeter of these areas on campus. The last thing that they'll be doing is they'll be creating their own virtual zoo on Zoo Tycoon. For interpersonal learners, students will be engaged in partner work. They'll be given leadership roles and group assignments. They'll be involved in many collaborative assignments. And they will also be getting the opportunity to chat with their peers in Google Hangouts. Interpersonal students really like to work with other students and engage with other people and teach them. These students are going to be able to do this multiple times a day in different lessons. For the spatial intelligence, students will be using mapfab.com and Google Maps to calculate the perimeter of geographical areas. They'll be using Zoo Tycoon, again, to create a virtual zoo. They'll be making their own physical fence out of popsicle sticks and engaging in a campus walk where they're going to find the perimeter of items on school campus. And finally, they'll be going on Math Playground, where they will be creating 4-sided figures and then calculating the area and perimeter of them. For the naturalist intelligence, students will be going on timeforkids.com and they'll be reading an article on the requirements for zoos for animals enclosures. They will then be going on Zoo Tycoon to create their own virtual zoo. They're going to need to pay special attention to the size of the enclosures that they create for their zoo animals, and they're going to need to be computing the perimeter and area of these figures. The students will then be going on a virtual field trip to a zoo where they will get to see firsthand the needs of the animals and determine if the enclosures that they created for their animals in their virtual zoo meet the needs of them and make the necessary adjustments, and then again find the perimeter of these enclosures that they have created in their personal zoo. The next intelligence is logical mathematical. Now, of course, this being a math lesson, these students' needs are probably going to be met the most and the most often during this entire unit plan. Some of the technologies that these students will be engaged in during this unit plan are Kahoot quizzes, TED Talk videos. They'll be engaging with other learners on Google Hangouts. They'll be completing online scavenger hunts. They'll be playing games on Math Playground and utilizing online manipulatives. They'll be looking at geographical locations on mapfab.com. They'll be completing digital graphic organizers, and they will also be using online manipulatives on Geometry Pad. Once again, my name is Amanda Curtis, and I hope that you enjoyed my presentation.